Hey, so I want to demonstrate an automation to Asana forms using tray.io. So here I have a project that has a form associated with it. If I go over to the form and I've already pre-filled that in, I'm just going to hit submit. Normally when you submit a form in Asana, it goes to a project, it creates a task, but there are no subtasks, and nothing else really happens. So you can see here's my task that came in. There's no subtasks. And if we scroll down, you can see there's no collaborators on this task. But I have an automation that is going to run that will add subtasks and check the email address that I put in the form and add me as a collaborator if that email is part of my organization in Asana. So you can see the subtasks are being added now. They're coming in off this template task. I based it off a template, so that way whoever owns this form can easily make changes to these subtask names, or add and remove them, and that'll be reflected in what gets added to a new task. So now we have this new task that came in just now. You can see I was added as a collaborator, and these subtasks were added. So the way all this works, and it was also moved over to this other section. So the way all this works is I use tray.io. They have a nice kind of drag and drop automation platform. They make the Asana webhook really easy. So I've subscribed to tasks being added to an Asana project. And that looks like this. Some of the default task stuff, it just has to be there, but the action is added. Resource type is task. So this will trigger, and then I have to put the project that I'm watching. So this will trigger whenever a new task is added to that project. You can get multiple webhooks coming in at once, so I have to loop through all of those webhooks. First thing I do is I get the detail of that task using the Asana API. And then I need to do a few checks. So the action of creating subtasks on your task will trigger the webhook. And it happened to me the first time. You'll get an infinite loop of new subtasks being added to your subtasks. So to avoid that, I check if the task that triggered the webhook has a parent or not. So if the parent value is null, then I know it's not a subtask. Subtasks would have a parent that points to their parent task. So I just skip this part of the loop if that's true, or if that's false, rather. Next, I get all the subtasks from the task. The reason I'm doing this is to check, did I already take action on this? Sometimes the Asana webhook will generate multiple webhooks for the same event. So you have to filter that out. So if I've already added subtasks to that task, then I'm going to skip it. But if there are no subtasks found, then I'll add some. Next, I'm checking if the user is null. So when the form creates a task, the user in the webhook is listed as null, because Asana itself created the task. If I manually created a task in that project, it would show my GID. And I'm choosing to only add these subtasks to form submissions and not to tasks created by the user. Now I can get into adding the subtasks to the project. So I get all the subtasks from the template. And again, the reason I'm doing this is so that it can be changed on the user side, or on the Asana side. I have to reverse the list and then loop through and create new subtasks pointing to the task that triggered this webhook. And then just some cleanup at the end. I move the task into a different section. I'm also adding it to another project. You could use rules within Asana to add this to another project when it moves to this section, but then rules can't trigger rules. So then if that project had rules, it wouldn't trigger. And then lastly, I get the email address that came in from the form submission, from that custom field. I check if that email address is in Asana, and if they're in my organization. If they are, then I add them as a follower. So that way, if it was an internal form and I wanted the submitter to be able to track their submission, they can do that. Thanks.